Thanks for joining us. My name is Joseph Katz. I work with KettleSpace. Mac and I are coworkers. Marty Katz, who will be presenting today, is not related to me. We deny any connection other than our last name, but I appreciate you all joining us today. I'll give a quick introduction to KettleSpace and then introduce Marty, and I'll take it away from there. So KettleSpace, pre-pandemic, ran a network of co-working spaces in the greater New York City area. Since the pandemic, we launched a virtual community, which this event is part of. We run events every week, multiple events. We have a community Slack channel where people can offer help and advice to other members, cross-promote their businesses. And we currently are working with companies who, when they're ready, plan to go back to work with their return to work plans. We have a technology product to assist with that. And then at some point, we will reopen our spaces when it's safe to do so. So that is who we are. And I encourage everyone to stay in touch with us, join us for other events. I think many of the people who have come to multiple events find them valuable and make connections to help their businesses. So I'd like to welcome Marty. Thank you for joining us today.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, our pleasure. Marty Katz is passionate about connecting your company with target audiences by designing the message that cuts through marketplace clutter. He creates awareness and develops engagement. His work generates an increase in sales leads and ultimately business growth. He has worked virtually in all marketing disciplines, including marketing strategy, branding, advertising, promotion, public relations, as well as sales strategy and training. His experience includes working for ad agencies, serving large marketers like Kraft, Heinz, Reynolds, and Campbell Soup. Connectors 360's clients include Heron Wealth, Interview Mastery, More and Better Health, and Hiring Transformed. Marty, welcome to KettleSpace. Thank you for doing this, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for that very gracious introduction. So I'm a marketing consultant, and I specialize in brand messaging. That's what I do. So let me tell you why we're here today. I'm a specialist, as I mentioned, in brand messaging, and I work with leaders of small to mid-sized companies. And the problem that they have is they're responsible for growth, but they're not getting the sales that they want. They're not connecting with their target audience. And that's because their message is not clear or memorable. And this leaves them feeling frustrated. So I work with them to develop a message that generates connection, engagement, and sales leads. That's what I do. And I'm going to share some of what I've developed over time and have a particular methodology that I use. But let's first start talking about what is brand messaging. Is it the same thing as sales? The answer is no, it's not. A brand message is a strategy. It is the way that the foundation for all of your outreach communications efforts. It is how you plan for your online presence, your sales activities, your networking activities, social media, LinkedIn, etc. So a brand message is where you begin. It's where to start this whole process. And the reason why this is important is because this allows marketers to find the way that they can pierce the unconsciousness that people often face in the marketplace, because there's so many people doing whatever we all do. We're all in competitive market spaces. So how do you break through? So that's really what a brand message is. And so today, I'd like to talk to you about my particular vision of what a brand message is. Very importantly, I would invite all of you to step in as part of this presentation and talk about what your brand is, what your message is, so I can provide some feedback to you to see if maybe you might want to modify it or just hear a particular way of looking at it that might enhance your efforts. So I'm going to invite all of you, whoever wants to volunteer. How does all that sound so far? I guess you're all on mute, so you can't really say anything. I see Aaron giving me a thumbs up.
I'll just add, Marty, if you have any questions during Marty's presentation, feel free to throw them in the chat, and during the Q&A period, we'll read those off.
Right. So like I say, this is the strategy. It's also the blueprint, because in marketing, there are three buckets. One bucket is the what. What are we? What is the marketer? What is your identity? That's the first place. That's where to start. That's what I'm responsible for. The next thing is the how, or brand expression. That's your website, your logos, your colors, all of your copy. That's the brand expression. A lot of people figure that a brand is a logo. It's not. A logo is a brand expression. It expresses. Like you think about Nike, they have that whoosh, and that is a brand expression. But their brand is really based on performance. That's what their brand is based on. That's their message. And Just Do It is an expression of that, as well as their logo. The third area is your marketing, which is your outreach effort. How do you actually, where do you go to meet your target audience? It's the where. It's the where does your target audience engage with you? That's the value and the purpose of digital marketing these days. So that's the where. So it's the what, it's the how, and it's the where. So we're going to start. So let's start with first slide, please, Nick. So here it is, the secrets of messaging from me, Connectors 360. Let's start with messaging versus sales communication. Messaging generates awareness and engagement, and it informs the target audience and creates interest. So that's the way you start. That's how you in order for you to develop sales leads, people have to be aware of you. And then they want to engage with you. Engagement is how they connect with you. They read information about you via your website. You send them information about yourself. That's the engagement. The awareness is what makes you special and different. How do you stand out? And why should people need you in the first place? That's what the awareness is based on. But sales is about closing. So the branding, the brand messaging is about developing the awareness and the engagement, and sales is about closing. Once you get people interested, then the salespeople come in and they close. Next, please. The usual way of communicating with prospects, I've seen this over and over, is you tell prospects about your services, how you solve problems, your background, your credentials, your achievements. This is what we've been trained to do. We've been trained to impress people about what we've done and how we've done it and where we've done it, for whom we've done it. It's the way that we really show our intellectual prowess and our business achievements. That's the usual way of communicating with prospects. However, next. Here's the important thing: nobody cares. Now that's it may sound sort of harsh, but it's true. See, nobody is waking up in the morning and saying, I need a particular solution. They are saying, I have a problem. And they have a problem is maybe they don't have enough sales, or they're getting too many returns, or they have high employee turnover, or they can't get the financing that they want. So the things that they think about are their problems. And when we think about brand messaging, we really focus on what is the problem that is resident in and for the prospects, not about how you solve them. That comes next. As part of the brand message, you have to start with what's important to your target audience before you try to bring in your solution. Next. So how do you connect with your target audience? So 3 rules of marketing, as I started to talk about. The first one is nobody cares about you because they're just not interested in your solution. They only want to focus on what it is that they have to deal with. And the second, people will only remember the problem you solve if you give them a lot of data, information, and a talk about your services and your technologies and your achievements and your credentials. They can't remember any of that. They can only remember the problem you solve, and the problem you solve is their problem. It's not about your solutions. And the third thing is they will not do the work to figure it out. That means that if you give people all this information about yourself and what you've done and how you've done it, they have to sort of dig through that and ferret out what's important to them, and they're not going to do that. Next. So how do you generate engagement? How do you generate interactions with people? Because people buy transformation. They're only really interested in what they will have that they don't have now and how their lives will be easier. That's really the purpose of all of our work, is how do we create transformation for our target audience? Because right now they have certain problems, they can't figure it out, they don't know what to do about it, and they want to find a way to make their lives easier. So that's the purpose of developing a message that starts the process of explaining what you do and how you do it, because they just want to have their lives work much better. Next. This is me. If you want to contact me, here's the information. And Mac is going to send this brief presentation to all of you sometime after today. So now I would like to take a moment to invite anybody who would like to let me know if you'd like to talk about yourselves and your own companies and your own brand message, and I'll provide you with my own feedback. Any brave person want to stand up? Raise your hand. Don't be shy.
I see
Victor.
Victor raised.
Hi, Victor.
Hi, Marty. How are you?
I'm good, Victor. Victor and I have met in the past, virtually.
Many times.
A couple of times. So Victor's going to let us know a little about the company that he represents, and just talk about the problem that you solve and for whom.
Sure. All right. That sounds great. Thanks, Marty. Thanks for the opportunity. Hi, Mac. Thanks for hosting this great event. And good morning to everybody from wherever. So here's the situation. I've just taken on a role as a CMO of a new company. And the problem we're solving is something that could apply to almost anybody on this call. And that is that many of us of our generation are often have some level of responsibility for older adults, aunts, uncles, parents, that kind of a thing. And that we try to help out as much as we can. So, maybe they're living on their own, but maybe they need to go to the doctor, they need to go shopping. And so we do what we can to accompany them and help them out with those things. But often, we have our own lives, we have our own responsibilities, we have jobs, we have families. And so we can't always be there when our relatives need us.
So what is the problem that they have, and what do you do? Just say, so what is the service that you provide, and
Sure.
Who's your target audience, and what's the problem that they have?
Sure. The problem is the target audience is people who have responsibility for older adults.
Okay, and what is their problem?
And the problem is that often you can't be there when they need your help, going to the doctor, going shopping, getting a haircut.
Right. So the problem is that they want to support these elderly relatives or friends, I guess.
Right.
But they can't spare the time.
They can't always spare the time. That's exactly right.
Okay. And so why is that?
Why? Because they have we have our own responsibilities, right? We have jobs, we're busy, we have
Okay.
families.
And so how does this leave them feeling?
Well, it leaves them feeling guilty.
Ah. Excellent. So what do you do about this?
Okay. So we have a service where through an app, you can schedule an event, a trip to your aunt's trip to the doctor. You can pick from a list of pre-screened providers, and they'll take it from there. They'll take your relative to the doctor, make sure they get there, wait while they're there, and then bring them back.
So the short version is that your solution, what's the name of the company?
It's called Zage, Z-A-G-E.
Okay, Zage. So Zage provides, I'm not sure what the right word is.
On-demand elder services.
Okay, on-demand elder services. That's it.
Yep.
Very good. So is everybody here? I was a little long in the beginning. It was too much
Sorry.
background. Remember, nobody cares about the background. They don't. But if I have, in fact, I do have a cousin who's in her 90s who can actually use this kind of service.
Perfect.
She lives alone. And she could, so these are elder services. People will immediately understand that you provide elder services, which implies instantly that you provide, assistance. I'm not sure what they're not nurses or.
It's not medical. It's really accompaniment and companionship.
I was thinking about companion, but that's not really the right word either.
Accompaniment is good.
Accompaniment for important services for elderly people. Excellent.
Yep.
Very good, Victor.
Perfect.
Who's next?
Thanks, Marty.
Yeah, who's next? Victor can't be the only one.
I would love to.
Who is that speaking? I can't tell.
Itamar.
Oh, Itamar Gill. Itamar Gill. Hi, Itamar. Where are you?
Hi, I'm in New York, Queens.
Oh, very good. So Itamar, tell us about who you are, the name of your company, what you do, and the problem you solve, and for whom.
So I'm currently a student, and I'm also building a dating app that's targeting Generation Z, young singles. And we try to solve their main problem, which is that they go on dating apps and they match with a lot of people, but rarely go on actual dates. So framing it in one sentence is we want to solve the problem of having only 150 matches to 1 date ratio, basically.
Well, so, okay, so you have a dating app, and what's it called?
Kama, Kama.
Kama, like Kama Sutra.
It's coming from my partner is Singaporean, so he's this is from the Hindu language.
I know, I get it. So I think that's actually a pretty good name. So you are this,
desire, or this is why.
so you're the CEO of Kama, which is a dating app.
Mhm.
And your target audience is Gen Z, men and women. And the problem that they have is that they have had, it seems to me, the problem that they have is that they go on dating apps, but they don't find real dates. Correct?
Yeah, exactly.
And why is that? Why is it that they go to, all these apps, eHarmony, all the rest of them? And why is that?
So there are a few reasons, main reasons. First of all, many of them go on the app, but then get ghosted. So they send a message, but don't receive a message back.
This is too long a story. And remember, no one's going to stick around for the long story. You hear about Victor, it was very clear. The people don't have the time. The younger generation, they don't have the right. Victor, you're right. They don't have the time. So what is the reason why this problem exists for these young people? They go on the dating apps, but they don't get dates. Why?
So I guess it's the thing here is that for me at least, I get so many different answers, but usually what happens is that people tell me, I wish I could go on more dates. I don't end up going on dates. They don't really can pinpoint their problem. So I have a few reasons, points.
Well,
but
try to make it only one thing, because no one's going to listen to a long list. So I'm going to guess and say something like, perhaps the people who are on these dating apps are not properly screened, or that they are not they're not authentic about who they say they are, something like that.
So how would you frame the reason, which is that people speak on the app, like text each other, but never make it to the next step of like setting up the logistics, or like taking to that step of like, okay, let's meet?
Right. So the reason they can't get dates is that on these other dating apps, they're just a lot of talkers. They're just talkers. That's it. So the problem is they go on these apps and looking for dates, and they don't get them. And the reason is all the people on these apps are just talkers. So how does this leave them feeling?
Okay.
You get to answer that now.
Yeah, I think so. So when you talk about feelings, you mean that they basically have this dissonance between their potential, the goal of going on the app, and the actual result.
Well, that's too intellectual. You can say they're feeling frustrated.
Okay.
Or they feel left out, or they feel disappointed. I mean, those are the key things. Remember, you have to make this ultra simple. I mean, this is what I've observed over many years. And you may have noticed I'm not 25 years old anymore. Is that people like the simplest thing. That's what really drives them. Like I mentioned about Nike, just do it. You can't get much simpler. Do you know how many hours it took to create Just Do It? It took thousands and thousands of hours to develop that.
Yeah.
And that swoosh, that took thousands of hours. So that leaves them feeling frustrated. So what do you do to solve this problem?
So I set up dates for people.
Are you a matchmaker? Are you a matchmaker?
So I wouldn't say it's a matchmaker. It's more of a literally dating app. So once people match and we have some preferences that they provided for us, we set up the date for them. So they can still text each other, but they have this idea of like, okay, we have this time and place in our mind that we should go and meet. And this is kind of an opt-out mechanism, you know, in which they can
It's too
always
long,
cancel.
too much information. So the way you solve it is you actually set up dates between people.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you set up a date, that means if I agree to meet somebody, then I'm going to be, unless I'm a total jerk, unless I'm a complete jerk, which does happen, I understand that, that I'm going to actually show. So what you do is you actually create dates between interested parties.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So that is the beginning of your brand message. That's not the entirety. That just starts. After that, you'll talk about your processes and your credentials. All of us will do this. Our credentials, our experience, what makes us special and different, our why, you know, the Simon Sinek why, and the transformation that we deliver. All of those things will follow. What we're talking about here in this particular presentation is just the beginning part, because that's the hardest part for people to actually get a hold of.
Uh-huh.
Is that helpful to you?
Yeah, really helpful.
Very
Thank
good.
you, Marty.
Marty,
Thank you, Mac, for hosting.
yeah, totally. Itamar Soroya is so she's posting some feedback in the chat, actually just to me, but she also pointed out that there are different intentions of why people use a dating app. Like someone uses eHarmony to find a life partner, somebody uses Tinder, you know, for like a one-night stand, basically. So you do have to consider like why people want to use these different dating apps too.
Well, actually, that's probably true, but it's also incidental from the point of view of his company. He's dealing with serious daters, not the people that just, you know, Tinder. So it doesn't really matter that dynamic exists. I mean, in any market, you'll have people who are more serious or less serious, but he's pretty serious, right? Isn't that true, Itamar?
Right.
Yeah, kind of our messaging on this regard is basically that for whatever reason you want to meet, what we want you to, like, our target is people who actually want to meet.
Right. So that's
So
it. So like the people that are just, you know, window shopping, that's not his target market. So it doesn't matter whether they show up or not show up or join his group. Doesn't matter, because that's not what he's about. Does that respond to what you were saying? Okay. Who's next?
Thank you.
Sure.
Carol, I saw your hand go up.
Carol. Okay.
Hi.
Carol Townsend. So you're in England.
I am.
Well, tally ho.
Hello. Hello. Okay, so I'm just finishing a master's in addiction psychology, counselor for about 16 years. So I would like to go and do seminars for companies, for the people that work there, to talk about addiction and how to solve it. A lot of addicts are very shameful. You may have people in that company that are on cocaine, alcohol, food, you know, and they don't know how to fix it, but they keep it all very under wraps.
Very interesting. So I get it. So first of all, what would the name of the company be? Do you have that yet?
No.
Okay, we'll get to that later. We'll just call it Carol for now.
Okay.
Because we wouldn't use the word that for sure. But so you're the CEO of Carol, and so what is now one of the things that's really important is that we be very clear about I'm only going to use one piece of marketing jargon, and this is it. It's called product ID. And what product ID means, what is it that you do? A lawyer, an accountant, a marketing consultant, whatever. So what would it be for you? Would you be, let's just say, a wellness consultant?
I'm an addiction psychologist.
I know, but the company would be, it seems to me, would be a corporate wellness consultant. Okay. Because remember, you have to play to your target audience. So no one's really going to care about you and your background. But if I'm the head of HR, or as they say in England, HR, but if I'm the head of HR, I am responsible for the wellness of the employees at my company. So the idea of having corporate wellness programs is not foreign at all. It's been around forever. It's only increased in its importance. So if Carol is the CEO of Carol Inc. and the company is a corporate wellness consultant, that is perfect. Okay. So who is your target audience?
People that work in companies, really.
No,
People
no,
that with addiction.
No. Who has the money to pay for your services?
Businesses.
I know, but the people who are in HR, the people who are in this, I mean, who will have the budget?
I guess big corporate companies would.
I know, but who? What? See, companies never make buying decisions, ever. There's no company that's ever made a buying decision. It's only people that make buying decisions. So
are you asking what type of company?
No, I'm asking you what
where in the company?
Is it HR directors?
I guess it would be, wouldn't it?
Okay, yes, it would.
Mm.
Okay, so my name is Carol. I work with HR directors at mid to large size companies.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
good.
Yes.
Okay. So what's the problem? What's the problem that you solve? What is their problem?
The problem is underachievement of their workers if they are addicted to something.
Well, I mean, yeah, sort of underachievement. I think it's a little bit more than that. I think that the problem that they have is that their employees are they're not functioning properly. Because there's a disconnect between what they're supposed to do and what they do, meaning that they're dysfunctional. That
yes.
Their problem is that a number of their employees are dysfunctional.
Yes.
And
it's
why
so
is that?
true.
Right. And why is that?
Because they are preoccupied with something else. Something else takes center stage.
No. The reason is that they have substance abuse issues.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, or phone addiction.
Well, let's just say addiction issues. Let's leave it that way.
Okay.
Yes, could be phone, could be scrolling, could be, we have doom scrolling, here because of Trump. We're all doom scrolling constantly.
Oh.
Let's not get started on that. So they have addiction issues.
Yes.
So how does this leave the HR directors feeling?
Worried.
Yes.
Worried.
They're very worried, and I would say that they're anxious, they're fearful. I mean, if I'm responsible for a whole group of people in my company, and some of them I'm concerned have these addiction issues, I'm worried about them. I'm worried about the company, and I'm responsible for them. I'm not responsible for their work product or their output, but I'm responsible for their well-being because that's my job.
Yes.
The feeling. So what do you do to solve this problem? What's your solution?
Education. Giving them tools to help themselves.
Well, it seems to me that you have addiction programs that help them regain their health.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be a better way to say it?
You're good at this.
I've been doing this for a while. So that begins
exactly.
That begins the process. After that, then you get into the specifics about your background and your credentials, what makes you special and different, for whom you've done this in the past, your why, like why should somebody choose you, and the transformation that you pick. In total, in my particular methodology, there are about 10 steps. But this first piece is the toughest because of what you've just seen. So how does all that sound to you?
It helps massively. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Really good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Who's next?
I
see Pej.
Yes, Paige.
Paige. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Paige.
Okay, hi. So I guess I'll use Mac's framework that he put in the chat. So I'm Paige, and I do host a podcast. However, I'm also I have a okay. So I've been coaching for many years, but I never turned it into a business officially, only because I was like working in the corporate industry. So what I'm doing,
None of this matters. Skip all this. I
okay,
only want to know, my name is Paige. I'm the CEO of what? What is the product ID? What is the problem you're solving for whom? Skip any background. No one is it. Remember, no one cares about you or your background or anything like that.
all right, rewind. So hi everyone, I'm Paige, and I'm a wholeness coach and a life advisor, kingdom-based life advisor, and
Wait, hang on. What kind of a life advisor? You're what?
kingdom-based. So
What's that mean?
so kingdom-based is I use biblical principles.
No, oh.
No?
First of all, you don't want to bring in any data that is confusing or misleading. So if you're a wellness coach, you're a wellness coach. But you want to be very crystal clear. Like I said earlier with Carol, I'm a lawyer, I'm an accountant, I'm a marketing consultant, I'm a business consultant, I'm an architect, I'm an engineer. You have to be crystal clear. Don't bring in anything that colors or distracts from the simplest possible way. Start again. My name is Paige.
Okay, my name is Paige, and I'm a wholeness coach. And since COVID,
Wholeness coach?
yes, wholeness.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so basically, wholeness is a state of being where you actually feel complete and
why would you expect anybody would know that?
That's a really good question, because I thought wholeness was something a lot of people knew about. No,
I mean, I personally,
well-being.
I think wellness is the current term.
Okay, what about well-being or wellness? I can say wellness.
Yeah, because the thing is, you don't want to do anything except bring people into your tent. You want to create awareness of what you are. You're a wellness coach. I get that. That's easy. There are many people that do that. In fact, you don't really, at the get-go, you don't want to stand out in the beginning. You want to be a lawyer or an accountant or whatever, or corporate lawyer or tax attorney, all that stuff. You actually want to include yourself in the, I've sort of lost you. You used to be the
No, I'm still here.
Oh, there you go. Right. So you want to focus on what is the easiest thing for people to put you in a bucket. That you want that on purpose. So wellness coach is very popular these days. People know what it is. Just stick with that. Don't talk about wholeness, because that means the expectation is people will know what that is. They don't. Okay. So you're a wellness coach. Okay. And so what is the problem you solve for whom?
I have a question on that. I feel a lot of people are wellness coaches, but what about well-being coach? Because when people hear wellness, I'm thinking like the massages and.
It's fine. You actually want to be initially in a pool that people immediately can identify with. Because well-being coach is not the term of art. You will have plenty of time to differentiate yourself. You absolutely will do that. About how you are special and different and the problem you solve. You will get to all of that stuff. But you want to start out by making it as easy as possible. People say, oh yeah, I know that. Wellness coach, I get that. You know, not well-being coach is like, I'm not sure what that is. You don't want to do anything that distracts people from focusing on you. Go.
All right. So hi everyone. I'm Paige, and I'm a wellness coach. And since COVID forced a lot of people, men and women, to go within and figure out. No, too long.
Who is your target audience?
I'll say men and women, but maybe mostly women.
Is this a corporate thing, or is this B2B or B2C?
I'll say B2C.
Oh, okay, fine. So you're speaking. Okay, got it. So you're not looking.
Okay, all right.
You're not looking for corporations to hire you, correct?
No, but however, I do have another thing for corporations. So I wasn't trying to talk about, but
okay, only pick one, because remember, no one will care about anything like that. So just pick one. If you want to do B2C, that's fine. If you want to do B2B, that's fine. Whichever you like.
All right. So this is B2C.
Okay, so you work with men and women, any particular ages?
I'll say from age 27 to about 45.
Let's just say 20s to 40s. Okay, got it. Okay, good. And what is the problem that they have that you solve? What is their problem?
So they're not sure like what they're going through in their life. So they're going through some sort of transformation, but they don't know how to explain it or how to describe it or what to do about it. So,
Well, that's starts it. But what is their problem? That's true. But what's their problem?
oh, they're stuck. They're stuck.
Now you're talking. So the
Okay.
problem that they have is that they're stuck in their lives. They're at a crossroads,
Yeah,
right?
the crossroads, yes.
They're stuck in their lives. They're at a crossroads.
Yes.
And they don't know what to do.
Right.
And why is that?
Because they're confused. They feel they can start over, or they just don't know what to do, basically.
They don't have a roadmap.
They don't have a roadmap. So they don't have a roadmap to how they can get out of the stickiness that they're in.
It's enough to say they don't have a roadmap.
Okay.
And so how does this leave them feeling?
For a lot of people, it feels them not engaging fully with their lives.
Too intellectual.
Sorry?
Too intellectual.
Too intellectual? Okay, so they're not thriving. They're just
They're
existing.
fearful.
They're fearful. That's right. Okay.
Mm.
I'm writing down these keywords.
You should.
Yeah.
And so what do you do? What's your solution? One sentence only.
Okay, so what do I do? So I help them understand where they are in life, and I also build.
No. So you have a 10-step program that allows them to make decisions that they really need to make. I made up 10 steps. It could be 3 steps. I don't know the number of steps. So you have a program that allows them to reach the decisions that they're looking for.
Yes, I do have a framework.
Okay. Well, framework is a little vague. Program is something specific.
Okay,
Like
so program.
A program that allows that allows people to make the decisions that they need to make. The choices, you can say choices if you don't like decisions. You know, you could say you have a program
I like
that
decisions. Yeah.
Okay. You have a program that allows people to make the decisions they need to make to move on with their lives.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay.
After that, you get into all the specifics. But this is, like I say, this is the beginning. This is not the whole thing. This is just the start. How does all that sound?
It sounds great. It's
Good.
like really short and sweet, basically, straight to the point.
Right. You just have to, because people don't have a bandwidth for anything more than that. We're overwhelmed by messages.
Okay. I probably confuse people with all the fluff I put around.
Yeah, don't. We're devoted about not confusing people. That's a commitment. Okay, so who's next?
Thank you.
Sure.
Great job, Paige. Sounds great. All right.
Who else? How much time do we have, Mac?
We're at 9:42, so
Yeah.
maybe time for one more.
Okay, one more person, step up.
Who's it gonna be? Marty is very vocal, so just be ready.
Who's the brave person here?
Yeah.
Alexander?
Okay.
Yep,
Oh,
that's me.
Hi, Alexander.
Hi, good morning. Thank you. You're doing a really great job, Marty. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexander. And your
I'm
last name,
hoping you can help me pare mine down. Okay.
so you are Alexander. What's your last name? I can't quite see.
Simmons.
Simmons. Alexander Simmons. Okay, Alexander. So you're going to tell me your name, your title, the name of your company, your product ID, the problem you solve, and for whom.
Okay. So if I can get that in the full order. My name's Alex Simmons. Simmons and Company. You can call the name of my company. I'm a freelancer, though. The organization or the program that I have is called Now's the Time to Write the Crime. And I'm a writing coach.
Okay, just say I'm a writing coach.
I'm a writing coach, okay?
Okay, good. You're a writing coach. That's excellent. Okay, good. So, because I know a couple of writing coaches, so this is okay. This is easy. So, okay. So, with whom do you work? Who is your target audience?
My target audience is either new or struggling young writers who are having trouble writing their script or their novels. They're stuck.
Okay, so you're dealing with individuals who are, let's just say, junior in their fields.
Okay, junior.
And right, they're junior people in their fields, and they are writers of novels and screenplays. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, and they're writers of novels or screenplays. Okay, and what's the problem that they have?
They either don't know how to fulfill or work out a plot, or they don't know how to write from the beginning to the end of their story. They get stuck. They don't know how to work out character development and several other things. I'm just trying to pare it down.
Well, I would say that they don't have the skills that they need to write.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And why is that?
Because they're new. They're new at it. They haven't had enough experience, practice, or guidance.
So the reason they have this problem of not having the skills is they've not had a mentor to show them the way.
I love it.
Right?
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Because the word mentor is a hot word, particularly, well, for both the mentee and the mentor, for both. Like I have a number of mentees, many, and it's a hot word because it really brings people in. They don't have a mentor. So
Okay.
how does this leave them feeling?
Frustrated, angry, and sometimes very depressed.
I would say depressed. I kind of tend to avoid depressed because it's a little too much of a Debbie Downer. So it's true, there probably are depressed, but let's just say that they're frustrated and maybe you could say anxious or frustrated. Okay. And I mean, they're just frustrated and anxious about the future.
Yep.
And so what do you do? What's your solution? What is the Alex solution?
The Alex solution, I like that. I teach them 7 to 10 techniques or steps that guide them through the blockage so that they can complete their project.
I like it.
Oh.
That's good.
Wow.
I mean, that doesn't need to be modified. That's good.
Great.
The upfront portion has to be modified a lot, but your solution that's crystal clear.
Perfect. Great.
So just restructure the upfront portion.
I will definitely do that. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. You're quite welcome.
All right.
So by the way, if any of you are interested in contacting me, as I say, please feel free to do so. Max is going to let you know all that information. And he's going to send you the presentation, which includes my contact information. And I work with people who really do want to move their business forward and are responsible for growth in the way that I just mentioned. And what I've just demonstrated today is sort of the beginning of, and after, as I mentioned, after you get the first portion set up, then you talk about your solutions, what makes you special and different, your credentials, why people should choose you, and the transformation that you bring. All those things will follow this if you're interested in contacting me further.